power invisible, and you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak of it with every word you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, angels' wings or heaven's door. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Midtown-Alanta, where you are welcome. Such is the nature of life, that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity to appear. You are that opportunity, and so am I, and so it is. Whoever you are, whatever path brought you here today, please know that you are welcomed and celebrated. We know who you are. You are an individual expression of the divine life in which we all live. Our life's opportunity to be someone unique and wonderful. What are your ethnic background, religious affiliation, however you know yourself or describe yourself? We are glad you are joining us here today. You are welcome to become a part of this community in whatever way serves you. And our vision is we are a strong, open, globally connected community centered on the clarity principle through teaching, service, and practice. We create a safe and respectful environment that supports healthy spiritual growth. And now, our Declaration of Principles, partially, as stated by our founder, Ernest Holmes.
A few of the Declaration of Principles we live by.
I believe in one God, one absolute power, and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love, and it creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life, and the immortality of the individual soul forever unfolding.
I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
So grateful, hey.
All right. And we have a special guest this morning, and it's her 90th birthday. So our practitioner this morning is Norma Roberts. And we just the board and us want to recognize that beautiful person that she is, and thanks for all that she does for us and for the center. And happy 90th birthday, Norma. All right.
So very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So Norma is a practitioner, and a practitioner is someone who's demonstrated the ability to use spiritual practice, spiritual laws, and bring about great changes in their lives. They've demonstrated they know how to bring about these changes when asked by others. Licensed by Centers for Spiritual Living, they are available to provide you with spiritual guidance and support in those areas where you're looking for assistance. And you can contact them through our website, cslmidtown.org. Norma is a practitioner emeritus, and we welcome her this morning for a little talk and a spiritual mind treatment called an affirmative prayer. Thank you, Norma.
Thank you again, Vance. You are absolutely wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is a wonderful day. And I thank everyone for being here this morning. You know, recently as I was preparing for this small talk that I'll give, I was reading some things, and I want to share with you what I was reading. And when I finished, I wanted to give it a term, a theme, or whatever. And I decided to call it me. So I'll tell you what I read. I read that part of feeling free involves taking complete responsibility for my life. Freedom means I accept that the choices I've made, the roads I've traveled, and the lessons I've learned have made me the person I am today. My personal integrity is revealed through my use of my yes and my no. Those things that I accept as being true and things that I say, no, you don't belong to me. I may feel tempted to place blame on other people or circumstances for my more unpleasant episodes, my setbacks and failures. But if I want to live in the fullness of freedom, I must be willing to see my role in what happened, even when it was painful or disappointing. My greatest experience of freedom lies in my willingness to take responsibility for all of it. When I do that, I can better rely on the divine within me to make empowering, prospering choices and direct my life in a mindful, meaningful way. That is about me, and I'm hoping that some of you find that that is also about you. And now, as we prepare for our morning treatment, I invite you to really prepare yourself for this moment by just taking a deep, calming breath and just settle in. And as I read these words, I'm asking you to accept whatever resonates with you and just let whatever else just drop away. As I speak in the first person, I speak as each and every person within the sound of my voice. So please join me now. This is the day the divine has made, and I rejoice in it, for I know God is all there is. God life holds the universe in right and perfect order. I know as I take each breath, I am one with the everlasting life of God. I recognize this radiant life flowing through me, out picturing as me, and right now manifesting divine order as my experience. I give total recognition to spirit indwelling me and rely on its guidance and empowerment completely. I accept myself as being the divine brought into expression. False gods of effects and appearances fade back into their nothingness through the impact of universal law. As I now release all energy concerns about anything and anyone in my life, my faith in the principle and the power of the Almighty alone restores me to wholeness. I am right now whole, perfect, complete. With ease and grace, divine order manifests by blessing me, lifting me, bringing forth my desires. God moves through my body to harmonize, heal, and to strengthen me, restoring every artery, nerve, vein, joint, organ, and muscle to perfection established by God. God moves through my heart to uplift, to cleanse, and to purify me. God moves through my life to prosper, to satisfy, and to bless me. God moves through my thoughts, offering new and greater expressions of good, allowing me to choose the most fulfilling experiences of my visions. This day, I believe, accept, and declare the perfection of God in all, through all, and all that I do. With great thanks, I give my whole being, spirit, mind, body, and affairs to this power. I let go and let God form in me the perfect receiving consciousness. I am open, humble, receptive, flexible, and ready to do what is mine to do today as I release this word to the divine and watch the perfect manifestation as my experience. This is my truth. It is the truth of all being. So I let it be so. It is so now, and so it is. And now we'll have some reflective music.
If this is my last song, if this is my final day, if tomorrow I'll be gone, what do I want to say? If this is my last song, if it's my time to go, when my body's moved on, what will I have to show? Oh, but fortune and fame, they scatter to the wind. The things that make a name just don't matter in the end. But is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. If these are my last words for all of the earth to hear, if all that I have ever been is about to disappear, if these are my last words, there's nothing that I need to say. I have only tried to serve. It's never been about talking anyway. So much hurt there is to heal, it's hard to understand. All I can hope to feel is that I am doing what I can. Is the world a little more peaceful? Oceans and skies a little more blue? Is humankind a little bit wiser about the good that we can do? Does the sun shine a little bit brighter where before there was only rain? If so, then I'm glad I came. giving hope to the hopeless. Has a hungry soul been fed? Has a child stood a little bit taller because of something that I said? Have I left a little kindness? Have I eased a little pain? If so, then I'm glad I came. For that, I'm so glad I came. If this is my last song, what do I leave behind? What do I pass on if I am out of time?
You're on mute, Vance.
I unmuted myself. So, starting over, our speaker this morning is Reverend Elzia Sekou, the senior minister at CSL Denver. He holds a BS degree in management from Florida A&M University and a master's from the City College of New York in Management Information Systems. Professionally, Elzia is currently the IT director at LTCI Partners, focusing on strategy, process, and system transformation. His experience in a variety of environments, government, IT, business, and academic, working with such clients as NASA, JP Morgan, Department of Interior, and as a professor of computer science at Florida A&M. He serves on several boards and currently serves as academic affairs chair at Iliff School of Theology. Reverend Elzia served as an Islamic imam and is the former chair of Cultural Diversity and Human Relations Commission for the city of Lakewood, Colorado. He's conducted workshops on prayer, hermetics, and religious science and ancient Egypt. Welcome, Reverend Z, this morning.
Good morning, and hello, CSL Midtown family. I'm so honored to be here today on this really auspicious day, which is the celebration of Norma's birthday. Oh my goodness, what an honor to be here for that, especially when I found out that she is my, as we say in the South, my home girl from Florida. She's from St. Pete, I'm from Tallahassee, so there's a kindred spirit that's there already, and I'm so glad to be here and share this day with her and this talk as we move forward and wrap up this month's of October. Now, it's so fitting, I believe, that in the next few days, we'll be celebrating some holidays and some occasions that are really, really grounded in spirit. Now, that first one, Halloween, which has taken on a different twist from the original meaning. But the original Halloween comes from All Hallows Eve, which was a time for reflection and prayer and remembrance of the saints and the faithful ones who had departed. And it's taken a different twist now, but when we look at the origins of it, it was a way to look and honor and remember those who had transitioned into another form of life. And then the next day, November 1st, was or is All Saints Day, where we honor those who have transitioned. And then on the next day, All Souls Day, which we look at the faithful, those who believe in the seen and the unseen and move forward in this thing called life. And so that reminds me of this idea, or really this question, or this mystery that everyone here seeks an answer. That is the mystery of beginnings and endings, of birth and death. Now, why is that? Often we hear this concept being explained as life and death, but that's a misnomer. It's birth and death. And it's ironic to me that we celebrate birth with joy and we mourn death with tears. Yet, if we look deeply, if we look closely, we see that these two things are not opposite, but they are expressions of the one continuous life. The one continuous life. And when we can sit with that, when we can hold that dear to our hearts, we are invited to awaken to an eternal rhythm of being that states there is one life, eternal, changeless, whole. Eternal, changeless, and whole. It never begins nor ends, but expresses itself as all beginnings and all endings. As all beginnings and all endings. And when we can realize that, when we can embrace this idea, we realize that this thing of birth and death are really just modes of transformation. It's not termination, it's a mode of transformation. Now, Chief Seattle, some of you may be aware of, Chief Seattle said this: there is no death, only a change of worlds. There is no death, only a change of worlds. And so that's what we are asked to step into. That's what we are asked to remember within ourselves, within our heart, within our very soul, that life is continuous and everything is a transformation to a greater yet to be. I like to share this story. It goes by many names, but one of them is the wisdom of the seed. The wisdom of the seed. And so one day, this young girl went to visit her grandmother, and her grandmother was working in the garden, and the granddaughter, as always, wanted to help and come out, and she says, "Grandma, why are you putting those seeds in the dirt? It looks like you're burying them." And the grandmother smiled and said, "My love, it looks that way, but I'm not burying it. I'm planting it. The darkness isn't the end of the seed. It is a new beginning of it." And so the granddaughter said, "All right, well, let me help." And she jumped in and she began to plant seeds with them, and they pressed them into the soil and covered them with the dirt and watered them. And so the granddaughter just waited, and days passed and then weeks passed, and it seems like nothing was happening. And the young child grew impatient. And she went to her grandmother and said, "Grandmother, I think it's gone. I don't know. There's nothing happening." But then one morning, a tiny green sprout broke through the soil, reaching for the sun. And the girl's eyes were wide, and she was excited. And she ran to her grandmother saying, "It came back. It came back." And the grandmother softly smiled and chuckled and said, "It never left. It was becoming. It was in the process of becoming." And that's what we do here in this thing called life. It is a continual process of becoming. This is our story. We pass from one form of experience to another. And as we look around, especially now, nature continues to display and to demonstrate this truth. Every year around this time, the leaves fall from the tree, and those leaves begin to nourish the soil, and in spring, new life come forth, as they say, in due season. And this is us. So this thing of birth and death, or this wholeness of life, is what we're seeking to embrace within ourselves. The darkness that we fear of death is really a misunderstanding of the soil of new creation. It's a misunderstanding. So We realize when we embrace this that nothing is ever lost. Everything transforms. Life is not a straight line. Life is cycles. We see that every day in all the different places, whether it's the waves rising and fall, the tides, the trees, the cycle of the moon. All these things let us know that nothing is ever lost. It only transforms into something greater and more realization. That's what we're here to remember, not to learn. I don't think we're here to learn because we come from the one source of eternal life that had no beginning and no end. And because we came from that, because we are products of that, there's no need to learn because we know as one, so is the other. Our job is to remember who we are, to remember the process of life and know that it is eternal. Know that it is eternal because believe me, as quiet as it kept. Now, this is a secret, all right? But I'm gonna share the secret. Life does not come from somewhere and go to somewhere else or go to nowhere. It simply is. Life is. And birth and death are ways of awakening to a new expression of this life. Awakening to a new expression of this life. So the question is, are you ready? Are you ready to embrace this new idea, this new way of living, this new way of looking at things? Because we are being asked every day, more now than ever, to tap into the eternal flow of life, where we turn our everyday experience into sacred opportunities to go deeper and to nourish our soul and remember who we are, what life is, and how it transpires. To do that, now that's the hard part, to do that, right? But we're in the perfect season for that. Fall or autumn shows us how beautiful it is to let things go, to just let them go, because we understand the cycle. We know as we let these things go, see we better, stronger, more in tune, more tapped in, more grounded to this thing called life. It's the wonderful reminder of this idea of cycles and letting go and continuing to follow the flow of life. And so I guess right now you may be asking, well, how do I tap into this wholeness of life? What is necessary for me to really get into this idea? Well, I'm going to give you 3 pathways that I think are grounding ideas or are capsulating moments in time that allow us to do that. The first thing is we have to see beyond appearances. Things are not what they appear to be. Spirit moves from invisible to visible and back again like waves in an ocean. Because remember, in our textbook, Science of Mind, the first statement in there, our founder, Ernest Holmes, says, I look forward to the day when spirituality and science walk from the visible into the invisible. And because we know through the law of correspondence, everything that's visible may become visible, but what is visible may also represent itself as invisible. So we begin to look at life beyond appearances. We begin to look at them as a way of really beginning to tap into this thing called life. This thing called life, because the different expressions we see or what they may appear to be, we begin to realize that all of it is God expressing as the many forms of itself. As the many forms of itself, because there's only one life. That life is my life, and that life is God's life, and it's our life right now. Right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, but right now. And when we recognize this, the fear that we have about this idea of birth and death and all of that begins to dissolve. We no longer claim to the temporary, for we know that we are rooted in the eternal. We know that we're rooted there. So we know through this cycle of life, this wholeness of life, we continue to become. We can continue to move forward and live a life that is just grand. And there's a Taoist teaching that says this. This Taoist teachings, I think, begins to calculate this. Birth and death are only doors through which we pass. They are not our beginning or our end. They're not our beginning or our end. They're just doorways through this transformation. Like going from the living room to the kitchen, right? When you leave the living room and step into the kitchen, you got a whole nother mindset going on. You're looking for some good food and some good company, and that's the way life is. These portals of becoming are just that, doorways into our greater yet to be. Now, once we've tapped into this idea of looking beyond appearances, then we begin to realize that life is one continual flow. One continual flow. Life itself never dies. If someone makes a transition, life itself is still present. It's still present. So what we are witnessing is its change in form. Spirit is eternal. It is expressed in an ever unfolding way. It's continual. It's unfolding. It's moving. It never dies. Life never dies. But there are portals within it that we call life and death. And so when we live in this awareness, we move without fear through the gates of change. Nothing that we encounter, each of these moments of loss contains the seeds of a greater life. Concedes of a greater life. So that's what we need to hone in on, that this is continual life and we are ever unfolding. Thich Nhat Hanh, the great Vietnamese Buddhist, says this: birth and death are one thread, the same life viewed from different sides. That's all. It's continual. And so let us begin to understand that life is one continuous flow. One continuous flow. And that each moment that seems to be a loss or that appears to be a death is the seeds of a greater life. It's moving us forward. It's rising us higher and allowing us to really begin to appreciate and understand and move with ease and grace. Now, the last portal, if you will, the last idea that helps us embrace this wholeness of life is just that. We have to embrace this cycle. We have to embrace it. There is a sacred rhythm everywhere in creation, whether it's in the seasons or the tides in the ocean, the caterpillar that turns into a butterfly, or this idea of birth and death. We use it as a reminder to say, here we go. We're on a joyous ride, connected with the source of all life, and we are moving forward with love and light in our hearts, and we are ready for the exploration, the adventure, the journey that we are on. Just think, that's a great journey. To be in the mystery, to be in the observation of things changing and transforming to something greater. Because we learn early in this idea that birth and death are not opposites. Because there's a oneness in creation. There's one life. So there are no opposites. They are two expressions of one eternal movement of spirit. And when we can understand that, when we can buy into that, when we can allow ourselves to live from that perspective, we become whole. We become complete. Not that we are not already, we begin to realize our completeness and wholeness. Alexander Graham Bell, the telephone guy, and we know everybody got a telephone, so we can connect and see how that transforms. It says, as one door closes, another opens. But we so often look regretfully upon the closed door that we do not see the one which has opened for us. It's that way of looking at life. It's that understanding cycle. It's the way of knowing that judge not according to appearances. Judge not according to appearances. And so that's what we do when we begin to step into the wholeness of life. We begin to look beyond appearances. We begin to understand and witness in our very being that life is one continuous flow. And that when we embrace that cycle of life, all things are possible. All things are possible. And we know that each event, each so-called circumstance in our life is the doorway and the gateway to a greater expression of this thing called life itself. And so I want to close with this idea that the divine spirit that is everywhere present, we give thanks for this truth that there is only one life. And we call forth the spirit of that, the wholeness of that within, to uplift us beyond appearances. As we realize that we are each a wave in the boundless sea of the divine, rising and falling and returning and rising again. So let us move through all the changes with faith in the eternal idea of eternal life, embracing all that we encounter, and may our awareness of this wholeness bring peace to all who seek comfort, enlightenment, and joy. And so it is. Amen. And so, as always, I always call forth a call to action, so that we begin to actualize these things in our lives. And so I would invite everyone that's here now or maybe listening later to really take this idea to heart. And some of you may have had it before, but in your journal, write down what it would be if you were at your portal to the next dimension of life. What would that look like? What would you feel? How would you see yourself as you move to the next beginning? Because this affirmation sets it whole. There is but one life. That life is God's life. And that life is my life now. And this thing called death is only a horizon. And so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Reverend Elijah. Awesome talk. And that's a very heady topic to discuss as well. So thank you so much for clarifying that a lot and giving us something to work toward.
Yes.
All right. So now, thank you. And we'll see you over on Zoom in just a little bit. So now it's our opportunity to go through our new minister, Sacred Covenant Easy Prayer. And if you haven't already downloaded it, you can download it from our website, cslmidtown.org. So with me, there is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. And knowing that I am one with this life, that is God, I therefore know that I am one with all of its blessed expressions, which includes the presence of a new minister for my beloved, sacred, spiritual community. Because I know that the highest purpose of my new minister is to express spirit, I therefore know that my new minister is a revelation of spirit as principle. I further know that my new minister is the fulfillment of that which has been promised by God, for it is written, principle is not bound by precedent. It operates according to law and is always available to those who are willing to align themselves with it. As I stand in agreement with my beloved community, I see my new minister before me as inspiring spiritual oneness through wisdom, love, and authenticity. I now intend to experience my new minister in full cooperation and agreement with my community, knowing this truth about myself. For I am inspired to live as love in the expression of principle. I am awakening the wisdom within me by clearly communicating the principles of universal truth. I am a conduit of divine love and wisdom and healing energy, recognizing the inherent wholeness within all beings. I am offering teachings, classes, and mystical studies grounded in spiritual principles to cultivate inner wisdom, personal transformation, and empowered living. I am extending the love, compassion, and transformative power of spirit into the wider community, fostering connections that heal, uplift, and support individuals in their unique journeys. As I now accept the highest expression of a new minister into my life, I know they will be revealed in a way that will express spirit and serve the highest and greatest good of all who are touched by their presence. I am grateful. God is gracious, and so it is. And now it's time for conscious giving. You can go to our website, cslmidtown.org/donate, and set up a contribution. You can click on the QR code on the screen. And with me, let's say our affirmation of prosperity. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. We had a few announcements. Next week, we will be online and in person. I want to state again, it was awesome to have Norma here on her 90th birthday. Thank Reverend Elijah for our speaking this morning. Our speaker next week will be Reverend Jean Bell, and her topic is Give Thanks, which is a good start for the beginning of November. On Sundays at 10 a.m., there's an adult study group for those of you that want to dive a little deeper into our teaching. They're going through the Science of Mind textbook. Sundays at 10 a.m. That's on our Zoom channel. You can get there by going to our website, CSLMidtown.org, scrolling down and clicking on the Zoom link there with the access code to get in. And I want to thank everybody that participated in our auction. We had a good return on that. And if you haven't already, take a look. You should see an email from Lynn about coordinating the donations. So now let's do our affirmation of life. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. And so it is. So join us over on Zoom for a conversation with Reverend Elijah, and have a great week, everybody. See you next week.
I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all that I have. Hey, oh yeah, grateful. I just say I am so grateful every day for all I have. Every day, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
There is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you